most exciting, the most compelling, the sport with the most energized fans, by far. Football. Some call it soccer, and this show lives and breathes it. Welcome to the Saucy Football Breakdown. We'll dive deep into the world of soccer. Bring you bite-sized stories that bring you closer to the strategy, the tactics, and behind-the-scenes narratives that shape the game. Discussions, debates, opinions, scouting, analytics, and a perspective beyond common sense and what meets the eye. Let's do it. Welcome in to the Saucy Football Breakdown. And now your host, Michael Nance.
Hello. Welcome back to the Saucy Football Breakdown podcast. I know that you've noticed I've done some rearranging around. We got a new intro on the show. Hopefully that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the fascinating rise of one Moises Caicedo. And if you are a Chelsea fan or a fan of the Premier League, then you have either seen his name or heard his name. And he's a big deal. And he's come from some pretty humble beginnings in Santo Domingo. And I just want to talk about Caicedo today. And this is all inspired by an article that I read on The Athletic. Shout out to The Athletic for giving me the source material. The link to that ad will be in the description. And you know what? As a bonus today, if you reach out to me in review of this episode, just give me a take. Just tell me what you thought about the episode. I will give you a free 30-day subscription to The Athletic so that you can check it out for yourself. But you have to reach out to me. The links to my socials are also in the show notes of this episode today. If you'd like to read the article that I'm referencing here in this story, then feel free to reach out and I will gladly gift you a 30-day subscription to The Athletic because the article is behind a paywall. But anyways, from his humble beginnings in Santo Domingo to his anticipated move to one of the biggest clubs in Europe, one Chelsea FC, Caicedo's journey has been a truly inspiring tale of not only talent, but also perseverance and determination. Strap in as we explore the story of Moises Caicedo. Now, Caicedo's talent was evident from a very young age. He always displayed some exceptional skills, some exceptional goals, and some beyond exceptional leadership on the pitch, leaving his teammates and his coaches in just awe, really. Even a seemingly simple, routine league match really shows just how good of a player this dude can be because he doesn't take plays off. Caicedo, he had to return from some injury, and when he got back, this just revitalized his team. And I'm talking about his team in South America, Independiente del Valle. And when he got back from that team, he just demonstrated some dynamism and skill at the age of 19 that was clear to everybody who was looking at him that this league is too small for him. This dude's destined for greatness. So now, as we fast forward to the present day, Brighton fans, they got mixed feelings about him leaving. I would too if this guy was at my club. This dude's a boss. And losing a player like that isn't going to be easy, but at least you can have some peace in the fact that his rise to the top was something that everybody saw coming. This was not unexpected. Coaches who've worked with him, such as his coach Javier Dorrente during his loan spell at Beershot, they share, all the coaches really, they share the same belief that Caicedo will shine genuinely wherever the heck he goes. And the stage is set for him to make a mark at one of the biggest clubs and compete in the biggest competitions. And that's Champions League, Europa League. This dude's a star, and he's going to shine. He stood off the screen to me at the World Cup. Now let's take a step back here, though, and talk about some of his roots and his remarkable, just his overall journey that he's taken. So he was born in a rundown, tiny corner of Santo Domingo, Ecuador, and he grew up in a loving but, challenging environment. He honed his skills on these dusty soccer fields that were marked by piles of stones. And, he was facing some tough competition from his older brothers. He comes from a family of dudes who like to do this. And it was during one of these little play around sessions that a local coach by the name of Ivan Guerra, he noticed Caicedo balling out, and he said, "Hey man, I want you to come and join my team." And this team that he's referring to is one of the best teams in Ecuador, and it's named after Barcelona. So Ivan Guerra became Caicedo's unofficial godfather. And I think we've all, in American sports, we've seen this figure. We know what this kind of figure is. He provided Caicedo football boots, bus fares to get to and from practice, and he even gave his family some bread when times got a little tough. Again, I think we've all seen this kind of figure when they identify that some kid is special, and they just pour into them and prop them up and give them the resources that they need to remain on the right path. So, shout out to Ivan Guerra. This early mentorship and the belief in Caicedo's abilities, that was a crucial thing for him. That really started to give shape to the journey and the path that Caicedo was gonna take as he moved forward. Now, despite moving on to professional teams like Espoli and eventually Independiente, Caicedo never, ever once forgot about where he came from. He participated in some neighborhood tournaments shortly after his impressive performance in the World Cup, and his generosity ensured that Guerra's young kids all had matching kits. So this dude reached back in his pocket and gave back to Guerra's team back there in Ecuador by making sure they all had nice new kits to play in. This is the kind of dude that Caicedo is. He remembers where he came from. He remembers the people who poured into him as a kid. The Moises Caicedo Football School continues to inspire young talents in Santo Domingo. And to have a school named after a person who's still living, that goes to show you what kind of dude he is. Now, Caicedo's path wasn't without any obstacles or injuries. I mean, he had a knee injury, and that knee injury actually kept him out for just under a year. But, this dude is made of something different. He had some grit, he had some determination, and of course, the help of some top-rate facilities at Independiente's academy surely helped his recovery as well. But either way, he used all that grit that he had inside and returned to the field more determined and stronger than ever. So, not only does this kid have some physical toughness and some natural talent, but he also has mental toughness, and that radiates through his personality and the way he plays. His physicality, his endurance, and his technical skills caught the eye of coaches like Yuri Solano and Miguel Angel Ramirez. Now, Caicedo's talent and leadership, of course, those things are evident during his time in the youth ranks, but he also made an impact into Independiente's first team. Ramirez, who had worked closely with him, really attested to his maturity and Caicedo's adaptability. So by the age of 19, Caicedo was already representing Ecuador's national team and drawing the attention of scouts really worldwide. His performance at the Copa Libertadores cemented his status as one of South America's most promising young talents. Now, while Caicedo's rise seemed unstoppable, he faced challenges during his long spell at Beershot. Initially, he struggled with just having some confidence and physical conditioning. And, I think that's to be expected. When you rise a level, when you go up a level, it's going to get tough. But again, we talk about the mental toughness that this guy had. It was going to work. So what did he do? He persevered. He persevered through hard work and patience. He adapted to the intensity of European football, and he soon showcased these exceptional abilities. And from there, Brighton saw that and was like, okay, this dude's got some real potential. So they recalled him from that loan and introduced him to the Premier League, where he's just simply thrived. And as we eagerly sit back and anticipate what his next move is going to be, which is likely to Chelsea, there is a sense of what some would call poetic symmetry. He has long admired N'Golo Kante, and now he may have the opportunity to even follow in Kante's footsteps. Chelsea fans surely hope that Caicedo could be Kante 2.0, but only time will tell. His energy and quality has to invigorate their midfield, and it has to provide what I would consider a solid foundation for the team's future. And as Pochettino starts to take charge and mold this team into something that resembles his vision, his mental picture, the potential partnership between Caicedo and Enzo could be something that, you just got to do the chef's kiss, when you kiss your fingers and, magnifique. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. That double pivot, if we run a 4-2-3-1, that double pivot is going to be stupid. With Enzo having permission to get forward, I'm here for it. But anyways, now that we've jumped into the journey of Moises Caicedo, we talked about his humble beginnings. We talked about his character. We talked about the characters in his life that helped get him to the level that he's at today. We talked about what kind of guy he is. I want to just ask some thought-provoking questions, and I may not have answers to all these as I have them written here. The first one is, number one, how important is it for young players to have mentors or coaches who believe in their potential? And can mentorship make a significant difference in a player's development? Now, I can't speak to what it's like to grow up and play youth soccer, but what I can say is that the mentors that you have, the coaches that you have, the people who are assessing your talent in these spaces as a child, if they put a foot wrong, if they put you in an aspect of the sport that you don't enjoy, it can drive you completely away from a sport. For example, if you're a heavy kid and you go to play football in high school and you've never played football before, it'll push you away from football altogether if the coach wants to put you on the offensive line. And genuinely, everybody knows that at 205 pounds, you got no potential to be an offensive lineman in college. So putting you in the right positions and in the best positions is something that is an impact that these coaches and these mentors can have. And yes, they can make a significant difference in a player's development. They can push you away from the game entirely, or they can drive you into the game and make you a better person because of it. Now, reflecting on Caicedo's humble upbringings, how do you think his upbringing and early challenges shaped his character and determination? I feel like, if the dude was playing on dusty soccer pitches with stones and everything else, he probably came from some real tough times in Ecuador. And the fact that people recognized he was talented, it seems like all they had to do was pave the way, keep him out of trouble, and watch him thrive. Because obviously, he's made of the right stuff. He's got that mental toughness to get him to that next level. And can adversity fuel success? I think yes, if you have the right mindset. If you have the mindset that Caicedo has had, and he's proven to have that mindset, yes, that adversity can fuel that success. What qualities do you think make Moises Caicedo stand out as a footballer? That's easy. His in-game intelligence, his physical presence, his mental toughness, just to name a few things. I mean, his vision, his passing. Dude is cold. There's no coincidence why he is highly coveted and heavily targeted by all the top teams in Europe. Dude's a baller. Caicedo's loan spell at Beer Shop presented challenges, but he overcame them and excelled upon his return. How important is resilience and adaptability in a player's development? Again, I think stuff like this is huge. You got to be made of the right stuff, not only physically, but mentally. Sure, when you go up a level, it gets harder. And if you're not made of the correct stuff, you'll be stuck at that level, or you'll be reminded why you don't belong at that level. But Caicedo was made of the right stuff to where he just figured it out, persevered, and then moved on to an even higher level. He ascended to an even higher level. And I'm sure that when he first got to that level, there were guys at that level that were kicking his butt. But he put his head down, he kept going, and he made it to the next level. And finally, with his anticipated move to Chelsea, how do you think Caicedo will fit into their midfield? As I described, I think if Pochettino runs a 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot where he's kind of holding back and Enzo's got permission to go forward, that's going to be filthy. That's going to be a disgusting combo, and I tell you, I'm here for it. That brings us to the end of today's episode. I genuinely hope that you've enjoyed exploring this journey of Moises Caicedo with me, and maybe you learned something about him that you didn't quite know. From his humble beginnings to his likely move to Chelsea at the top of the game, his story is a testament to the power of talent, perseverance, and unwavering belief of those who, supported him along his journey. So join me next time as I find more stories like this to talk about in the world of football. Until then, I'll catch you. But before I go, make sure to give me a review on Podchaser. You have no idea how much that's going to help my show out. And it's going to help me be discovered. It's going to help me get this show in the ears of more future Caicedo fans who may want to learn more about him and his game. So anyway, I appreciate you taking the time to check me out, and I hope you have a really good one. Later.
You've been listening to the Saucy Football Breakdown. Let's face it, soccer is the biggest sport on the planet right now, and it's our passion to bring you closer to the game. Soccer stories, tactics, behind the scenes, analytics, team building, scouting. We've got it all. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Saucy Breakdown.